surprised you weren't late this time. Remember, you're going with Daddy now. It's Daddy's weekend. Hi. Why haven't you been responding to my texts? I've sent you like 6 in the past hour. What have you been doing?
I've been working.
Okay, well, that's always the excuse. Come on, let's go. No, we gotta get you to Daddy's. What are you doing tonight with them? They want to know.
Going out for pizza.
Okay, I've got all their stuff packed. You know what? That bag I sent Mary Jane with, the pink one, I still haven't found that. And I think you have it. You took it. So, what? No, I packed the socks. They told me that you always lose their socks. Come on, guys, grab your stuff. Oh my gosh, your car's a mess. John, really?
Chill out.
No, I can't. Okay, kids, just get in the car. No redhead around my kid. Do you think you can follow that?
Sure.
Okay. Have tennis practice on Wednesday. Mary Jane, get out of the car. I'm not asking again. Last time you missed tennis practice, and that was really sad to Mary Jane.
You know, you're looking really good lately.
You know what? I don't really like that comment. We're not arguing. We're fine. Everybody come give mommy kisses. Remember, if the crazy redhead comes...
Jolene.
No, I'm telling them. If the crazy redhead comes, call mommy. Okay, that's all. I expect a full written report in 2 hours.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll look at a divorce story where a woman feels she was treated unfairly because she didn't get what she wanted. The husband made a brilliant move to prevent her from having her way, and now she regrets getting screwed over in the divorce. We want to invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year and earn our first plaque. That's the only support we ask from you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Share your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
A man says that 50-50 custody has him drowning, but his wife won't get back together because it's cut her workload in half. The man posted to Reddit saying that he and his ex-wife have a 14-month-old son, and shortly after his birth, their marriage fell apart. His ex-wife accused him of not pulling his weight, yet he says that she expected him to know what to do without her telling him. They argued all the time, and finally he told his ex-wife that her life would be much harder without him. The two ended up getting a divorce, and they live in Kentucky where 50-50 custody is the default arrangement. And now that this man is a single parent, he's finding it hard to adjust to caring for his child and said he had no idea what he was in for with getting split custody of his kid. He says he is drowning and can barely function the weeks he has his kid. He's so exhausted. And he thought his ex-wife would feel the same way. She said that life is actually much easier now that she has time for herself due to the 50-50 custody arrangement. She isn't exhausted anymore now that she only has to take care of one person instead of two, aka she was having to take care of that ex-husband. People in the comments were not sympathetic at all to this man. After all, the only reason he wants his ex-wife back is to have her take care of the chores and the child care. Instead of actively seeking solutions to manage his responsibilities as a single parent, he hopes that reuniting with his ex-wife will shift the burden of child care and household off of him. He should rather focus on growth and self-improvement as a father, seeking out parenting classes, helpful books, and overall ways to improve his parenting. His only solution does not have to be a woman to relieve him of his parenting and household responsibilities.
Now ask that father if his wife released him from the burden of paying child support. Do you know why many fathers tend to struggle in the early days? Having to work, come back home, do everything, plus the days with the child, and on top of that, a baby who always requires a lot of attention, and still having to give money to the ex-wife. You have to survive with what's left. And the child. Do you think it would be a walk in the park? It's reasons like this that some men endure a terrible marriage for a few more years until the child is at least 3 to 5 years old. It's easier to take care of them then because a baby demands all your attention. But of course, women won't feel any sympathy for that man, who very likely had to leave his home as well, because women say, we go through that. The difference is, almost all women have a support system. Men don't. If we don't work, there's no one to lend us a hand. For reasons like this, you almost never see a man filing for divorce because it's not easy to start over with all these responsibilities weighing on you.
After my divorce hearing, where I was married for 10 years, I was a traditional wife, I was a stay-at-home mother to 4 children. One of them is disabled. She had 4 open heart surgeries. I have been their primary parent since the moment they entered this universal realm. I'm the person that they have known from sun up to sundown and through the night. They do have 2 parents, but the way our family was structured, I was the one that took care of them. He was a little bit busy doing other things. I wrongfully assumed that courts would see the situation for what it was and give me everything that I wanted, and I would be able to remain their primary parent and remain in good, like, just everything would be amazing. And that's not what happened. I had to not only split custody, but in my opinion, it was horrible because this person doesn't even have their own home. He is living with his romantic partner. So I was like, how is the court going to give you 50% custody? You don't even have a fucking home. You're an actual hobosexual. You have no home, no job, nothing. There's no way a court is going to give you 50% custody. They sure as fuck did. Not only did they awarded him child support because he quit his job right before the divorce hearing to throw off our income. And then the court used a really fucked up calculation for my income. And it was just like literally the worst of the worst of the worst. My attorney said her jaw was on the floor. She has never had a divorce end up so lopsided in her whole fucking career. And then she wished me luck and I was on my way. If I didn't have the money to pay her, sucks to suck. In the franticness of like, oh my God, I have to give this person I'm gonna be homeless. Do you know what I mean? Like, how am I gonna pay child support and pay my rent and all my bills when I'm barely making it by myself? Needless to say, it's been 5 years. I never went homeless. I never lost anything. I never lost my kids. I've only gotten stronger and better. And it was because in the franticness after that, I called an attorney thinking, somebody has to fix this. Somebody's gonna make it better. And I called an attorney, I told him the whole story, and he was like, do you want me to tell you the real fucking truth? Talk to you like you're my fucking sister, or do you want me to give you like the polite answer? Like, he could hear the vulnerability and the desperation in my voice. He was like, get the fuck over it. Divorces suck. People get bad results. And if you continue to try to fight with him in the courts, you're only going to make yourself look worse. You can be angry. You can be mad. But you need to just shut the fuck up, put your head down, and focus on your life with your kids, because the longer you sit in that anger about how it didn't go your way, you're stopping yourself, you're slowing down your healing. You're slowing down your healing. It was like a light clicked in my head, like, you're right. It's over. The divorce is over. The decisions have been made. I can either accept it and move forward and focus on my life and focus on solutions and focus on, at least I don't have this ugly fucking dusty in my bed, in my body, in my anything anymore. And that's what I did. And life got better. The minute you stop looking at all the problems and start thinking of solutions, everything starts to get better.
We could have been a good couple. We could have had something special. But you one crazy ass bitch.
Welcome to the life of men. You know what's ironic? When things don't go her way, she says the system is messed up. Because listen carefully when she said, I thought the court would give me what I wanted. That tells me she wanted to screw him over, but it backfired. You got off easy because they didn't take your house, half of your savings, child support, 2 days a week to see the kids, and alimony for the wife as long as she lives. That's what men usually get. But as I said, she went in with the intention of screwing him over. Why don't the lawyers want to take the case? Because the opposing lawyer was smarter than the one she had. He built such a strong case that no other lawyer could change the situation. That's why I always say, when a woman wants a divorce, you go to the best lawyer you can find. Arm yourself with him like a soldier going to war with his rifle, because women like this one intend to screw you over. You can't be foolish and let yourself get screwed. I don't buy that traditional mother story, especially when she was ordered to pay alimony.
What do you do if your spouse is hiding assets in a divorce? The first thing that we will do is discovery. This is the formal exchange of documents back and forth where your spouse is going to have to say under oath, these are the assets I have, these are the bank accounts I have, these are the debts I have, and list those. Next, we will review these documents, which is where many times we will figure out about a bank account or an investment account that was not disclosed. We will then follow up with the other attorney and request those documents. If they do not provide it, we will go directly to the bank and ask for the bank or the financial institution to give us anything under this particular person's social security number that they have. This can get difficult and sometimes expensive, but it's important to start with discovery first and then branch out from there to go to the institutions directly to get this information if they will not provide it.
This is how they strip you down like a chicken, taking everything you have. When it comes to divorce, man, let me tell you, always take it very seriously. There's a divorce epidemic out there, and nowadays, Women don't want commitment, they want benefits. When they get married, they secure that financial paper that will give them long-term economic security. It's like securing their retirement through the sweat and work of a man. So when she's ready to leave, she comes to you with the divorce papers, almost always prepared to screw you over. That's why when a woman even mentions the word divorce, many men immediately want to fix the relationship. But women like to grieve the relationship while they're still in it, trapping you at your most vulnerable moment. Why? So that in the middle of your pain, you can't focus on preparing for a divorce. That's why many try to kick you out of the house. So in all that chaos, you won't be ready for a divorce. That's why I say, find the best lawyer. That's your rifle to go to war.
Women in their 40s who get divorces and kind of change their life and switch gears, and they're being accused of having a midlife crisis, no. They are returning to who their feral little heart always would have been had the world not kind of pushed and shoved them into this box. We kind of follow the path and do everything that's right and be a good girl and marry somebody and have kids and all these things. And then you realize, okay, but when does life get fulfilling for me? Because I kind of felt, washed away in my younger years, and now in my adult years, all I do is for other people, like, what the fuck? And you kind of wake up and realize, wait a minute, it's now or never. I better take life by the horns and start doing something, or I'm just always gonna have existed for nothing. So exactly why you notice you never see trad wives in their 40s advocating for that life. And you can discredit this by calling me whatever you want, bitter, jealous, old, gray, blah, blah, blah. This is just one woman with some experience trying to shed light to some other women, because I wish somebody would have told me this. I know that not every young girl out there is naive and stupid and like, I can't wait to serve some man. I know there's some young women, some fucking people out there that are like, man, what could make me happy? And I'm just trying to share some fucking perspective, because life does get fucking great. And it's not as fucking scary as people would have you believe. So yeah, fuck the trad wife life. It does nothing but serve other people. And you fucking matter too.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
You know what happens with this type of woman? When she reaches a point of dissatisfaction in her own life, she tries to blame her husband for it. So she starts complaining about everything, making life impossible for her husband and kids because of her own dissatisfaction. It gets even worse when she begins to envy or compete with her husband. If he's successful, she then goes on social media like Instagram and TikTok and starts comparing their lives, thinking, I should be like this woman in my 40s, not taking care of any man's children. She starts to believe that everything she contributes to the relationship is what really matters, and what the man brings to the table doesn't. But here's the thing. When they get divorced, thinking everything would turn out the way she imagined, making bad decisions based on her feelings, and then seeing that things are getting worse, she starts complaining even more about it because things aren't going her way. She talks badly about the women who have what she had and ruined. She blames everyone but herself for ruining the relationship. And you know what? She ends up becoming a pit of misery for everyone around her.
I've been a single mom raising my kids solo for the last 12 years. My daughters are adults now. They've moved on to college, they've moved out, and now it's just my 16-year-old son and I. And a few days ago, I had a guy say to me, I feel bad for your son. I feel like he's going to always struggle with his masculinity and probably never become the man that he could be because he's been raised essentially by women. And sadly, that's not the first time someone has said something along those same lines to me. Not only do I feel like that is an incredibly ignorant, closed-minded, and misogynistic thing to say, I feel like it's absolutely untrue. I don't believe for 1 minute that the gender of the parent is the deciding factor in how well a child is going to turn out, or if that child is going to struggle with their masculinity or their femininity. What I do believe is it's dependent on the parent who stays in the ring and fights, the parent who is always there and loves unconditionally. I've taken my son to the monster truck rallies and the motocross events and had him work on home improvement projects with me. And I've bought him hundreds of skateboards over the years so he can go and skate with his friends. And I don't believe any of that is going to make him more masculine or more of a man. I think having a parent who's an example of hard work and determination, someone who has high integrity and high values and morals, and who can instill that in their child. I've taught my son from an early age how to treat and respect his sisters and myself, knowing that the way he treats us is likely going to be the way he treats all other women throughout his life. I've also taught him how to cook and how to clean and how to really pitch in around the house. Because not only am I trying to raise him to be a good son, but eventually a great man and a great partner. I don't believe that great men and leaders are born. I believe they're trained. And though I will never be able to fill the role or compensate for him not having his dad in his life, I sure as hell am going to be there to provide the tools so that he can become the best man that he can be.
Women misunderstand what it means to be a man, to be useful. Being useful is about being a man with the right skills to survive. Knowing how to cook, which I recommend to every man, and knowing how to take care of himself. It's every father or mother's duty to teach that. Being a man means having the masculine energy of a man in the home, which is protective, providing, and guiding energy, associated with characteristics like action, strength, determination, rationality, discipline, and logic. It's about making decisions, solving problems as men do, knowing self-defense, knowing how to protect his woman in case of an attack, setting boundaries, not letting his manhood be trampled on, and not being overly sentimental. A child learns these behaviors by watching his parents together. The irony is that as a woman, she didn't go looking for what she's teaching her son. She went looking for a strong man, not one who cooks or cleans because that's what she brings to the relationship. She wasn't looking for feminine polarity. She was seeking masculine polarity in her man. A man who protects her, is successful, provides for her, guides her in her nervous moments, sets boundaries, and brings that masculinity that makes her want to serve her man and give him everything. She didn't go looking for what she's teaching her son, which is why men warn that what she's creating is a simp, not a masculine man. Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see how women say they can't handle the burden of running a household, how many complain about having to do everything alone when they bought their house, and how many end up being depressed because of it. We want to invite you to smash that like button and support us in reaching 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year to get our first plaque. That's the only contribution we ask of you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement. Share your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. Without further introduction, let's get started.
Mothers don't break, but they're broken right now. We're constantly on top of our kids because that is a societal expectation that we have to intensively parent our children at the expense of our own mental health. And we also have to be completely on as workers. Again, we're in this hustle culture where you're constantly driving at work. And so if you're a working woman, you have these two huge expectations that you basically have to meet. And it's exhausting. And it's why we have a mental health crisis. 51% of mothers say that they're anxious and depressed. The CDC released a study saying that the subgroup that is suffering the most anxiety and depression are working women. You're seeing this in the UK. It's an alcoholism, Adderall addiction. It is on the rise, rising suicide rates of mothers. We're supposed to be martyrs, essentially, or have it all together. And so there's no outlet for us. I say in my book, when working women make a list, it's like their kids, their partner, their pet, and then themselves. We are last on the list. We do no self-care. And society doesn't expect that we should be doing it. It's seen as being a bad mom or being selfish when we spend time on ourselves.
The biggest consumers of antidepressants in this country are women, and those who attend therapy the most are women. In recent years, cannabis use among women has also increased. Women weren't supposed to take on everything, but with an 80% divorce rate, which can rise to 90% if they are professionals, where does that leave us? In a broken family unit where children are at a greater disadvantage than children of tired parents, where children are raised by the values instilled by the state, not their parents. I have never thought that being a housewife is an easy task, but it's better than being a housewife and a worker at the same time. But does a woman ever think about this before leaving her husband? No, she only thinks, I must be happy. Because marriage is only about making the woman happy. They put themselves in the worst possible situation with divorce, but is it only the woman who suffers? I doubt it. We also have to consider the men who today are left without their home, part of their savings, and have to start over as single fathers, with state-mandated support payments that are paid every month like a mortgage, living with whatever is left. In divorce, no one wins. All that happens is paying for the decisions made by women.
I bought a house when I was 26 and fell immediately into poverty. Okay, when I lived with my parents, I was living my best luxury lifestyle. I went to South Korea, bought a 2,000 plane ticket, didn't even blink twice. I went shopping, luxury goods, all that. Was traveling, was just, I was living it up. I felt rich. I had no bills. And I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was working as a nurse, okay? I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, oh, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou? I got it. But then the pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house. Wiped out my savings. Then another pipe in a different area of the house broke. Okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I need help. Then my neighbor's pipe, it was a twin house, her pipe broke. And she didn't believe that her pipe broke, but her pipe broke on my side of the house. So all of that water that was coming down was spraying into my home. And then my water heater broke. When I tell y'all, I went from living in the lap of luxury to destitute immediately. Now, don't get me to fooling y'all, because it was worth it in the long run, because that house is now worth like 2 times what it was worth then. So I'm actually doing pretty good. But at the time, when I tell you I was struggling, I had to go to my parents every other day for dinner because your girl could not feed herself.
You're just unlucky. The majority of women in this country are buying more houses than men. Many of them always think it's because men are becoming useless or something like that, but it's because we understand the responsibility of owning a house and the debts that come with it. Sometimes it's easier for your savings just to rent and save part of your money. I'll say that I'm in favor of every man owning a house. In the end, I see more advantages than disadvantages, but it doesn't stop being a burden and a responsibility that men only want to take on if they have children or a wife. But women romanticize this idea, especially single women when they turn 30. Until the repair bills start coming in, they have to clean the yard every week. All the maintenance that usually men handle, plus cleaning every day. That's when the complaints start. Because now there's no landlord to solve the problems, and responsibility is kryptonite for women. I want to point out that when she ran out of money, she had help from her parents, went to eat their food when she couldn't afford her own. It's nice when daddy helps pay the bills, things that many strong and independent women omit. But when life makes them hit the financial wall, here comes daddy to the rescue.
There's one video of mine that needs to do well, it's this one. This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities, a couch, a bed, washer, a dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time from being overworked and underpaid. You don't catch a break when you grow up poor. I don't need much to be happy. I just want to be able to live comfortable. I just really need to catch a break right now. I'm trying so hard and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I don't have family. I don't have anything to fall back on. I just need one video to blow up and it could be life-changing for me.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Look at what women resort to these days when daddy cuts off their allowance. You believe the story that she has nothing, but just look at the type of place she's living in. Do you think any poor person who can't pay rent lives like that? What's happening now is that a section on TikTok is being created where women are begging for money, many asking for just $1. You might think that's not much, but 20,000 people giving you $1 adds up to $20,000. That won't make you a millionaire, but it's a nice luxury to have just for crying online. And I want you to notice the hypocrisy. This works because she's an attractive woman, the privilege of pretty women. If she were unattractive, she wouldn't even get enough for a McDonald's meal. But because there are so many simps giving away their attention, they don't mind giving money to this lazy woman who's just scamming them with her innocent face. Just watch the following video, where we expose her.
Can I vent to y'all just real quick? I'm tired of being a homeowner. I am tired of being a homeowner. I'm tired of people telling me owning a home is the best investment you could ever have. I do believe that to be true. That don't change the fact that I'm tired of being a homeowner. I'm tired of the problems that it come with. I'm tired of all the responsibility, hanging on my shoulders. I miss renting. I feel like I had more freedom with renting. Now, I know when you rent, you're paying month to month and all that money is going down the drain. It's not going towards nothing. It's not investing in nothing. I know that. And I don't care. I thought about it so much. Selling my house and going back to live with my mother. Because why not? I don't have kids. I don't have a man. I don't have any drama that I would bring my mama. And I can pay all her bills. Mind you, my mama still live in the projects and income-based housing. She doesn't pay rent anyway. We'll be over there living like kings and queens. Jesus Christ. I feel like the only thing that I would miss owning my home or, moving back with my mom or just whatever, is the privacy. I do not like people all the time. I do not like noise, But when you move in with somebody or any sort of living adjustment, then you have to understand what that comes with. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just tired. Not saying that I will go live back with my mama, not saying that I will go back renting, not saying that I'll get a roommate, all those things is an option. I'm just tired of being a homeowner. I'm tired of the issues that arise and I look left and I look right and the responsibility is still on you. Like there's just no help. I'm so tired. Owning a home, I don't give a damn. Owning a home is not what it used to be. I used to take pride in owning a home. I want to sell my home bad. Let it be somebody else's problem. And I like my house. Like when I bought it in 2020, it was newly renovated. I bought it during COVID and I paid pennies for it. And my mortgage is cheap. And I know I shouldn't complain, honey, but I'm still going to complain because it's mine and I got to pay for it and I'm going to do whatever it is I want to do. And I'm just tired of the responsibility, if I can only be honest. I feel like I had less responsibility with renting. Like if I had one problem, I can call the landlord. I'm calling the maintenance man. I'm calling somebody else to fix the problem. I got a problem now. I can call somebody, but then my phone gonna ring because I gotta fix it.
What you need is a husband. You need a man to take that stress away, to get you doing yoga in that house, to show you the potential of all that space. I bet you'd lose the urge to move out real quick once he has you burning those calories every day. Responsibility is kryptonite for women. Owning a house has many advantages, but it also enslaves you to always live in one place, to not be able to travel because someone always needs to take care of the house, to always be on top of any maintenance. Instead of thinking about becoming a burden to her mother, she should be looking for a husband. She's not tired of the house. She's tired of being alone in the house. If she had a husband to take the stress away in that house, y'all know what I mean. The last thing she'd want is her mother around, messing with her intimacy. But when there's nothing to do in that house, when the only voice you hear is your own, and you don't even have kids, that silence becomes unbearable.
So this girl needs $4,000 by next month so she can move into her new apartment. So how is she going to get the money? TikTok Roses from Live. Watch.
So I need to come up with $4,000 by April 20th in order to secure a cheaper apartment that I'm looking into. They want $250 per cat for a pet deposit. Why do I have 3 cats? 120 for the application fee already. Saw someone else do this on TikTok with their student debt. She went live and everybody donated roses and she was able to pay off $20,000 in student debt.
Jeez.
I think 1 rose counts as $1, so if I get 4,000 roses, I can move into my apartment. That is more affordable. Do I think this is gonna work? Absolutely not. But am I going to try it? Yeah, because I'm out of ideas.
Now, one would think that this wouldn't work, right? Wrong, this actually did work. This was me just looking at her live recently, and she is getting showered with roses left and right. Now, what makes that even more impressive is the fact that she posted that video yesterday, and already it has over 24 million views and over 1.2 million likes. So I had a good feeling that she was going to get roses, but I don't think anybody saw this coming. And I really think she started a movement on TikTok, because now we see other people on TikTok doing the exact same thing. This might be the NPC trend of 2024. But of course, this trend does come with criticisms. People are saying this is a form of cyberbegging. Others are also wondering why we should pay this stranger money when we ourselves cannot afford to do anything ourselves. But I am very curious to hear what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts to sending money to people on TikTok who need to pay off their debts? Are you for it? Are you against it? And would you do it yourself? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure to share this with friends and give me a follow.
Damn!
Brothers, people don't want to work. Nowadays, everyone wants to live off the most gullible person. Here, we see 2 things. First, just having a pretty face can really let you live life on easy mode. The worst part is, I'm sure she paid her rent with this, saved money, and made a good amount to keep doing this for a while. You know what will happen? She'll start living off begging, and that so-called career she's studying for will be replaced by being a cyber beggar. The second thing is how many stupid simps fall for this. We've always talked about how attention is the man's power over women, but nowadays men are so weak that they just need to see a woman asking for a little attention, and they'll even give her the money that's so hard for them to earn. That's why those Twitch streamers make so much money, and those working on the Blue app have their minds locked down. Instead of spending your money on improving yourself or investing in a project that actually helps people, or even on the wall service, just kidding, but giving it to a woman who will never talk to you in her life, who's just taking your money with her crocodile tears because she doesn't want to work, it's just pathetic. It's embarrassing to see these modern-day scammers.
I've come to an astounding conclusion, and that is that all girls are crazy. Okay, even the ones that say they're not crazy, we know you're a little bit crazy. Okay, so you kind of just have to find one girl that you kind of like they're crazy, and just like pick them, you know, because you're not going to find one that's not. Okay, deep down, we're all a bit too lally. Okay, goodbye.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll be looking at different women over 30 who don't talk about what they want in a man. We'll also hear from a 50-year-old single woman who shares her dating advice on how to be a high-value woman. We want to invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so we can earn our first plaque. That's the only support we ask from you, man. Contribute your grain of sand to the movement. Share your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you something really powerful right now, so listen very closely. Good, healthy, masculine men want to provide and take care of their woman. It is biological. If you look at any reality show where there's some sort of ultimatum or an engagement or a marriage at stake, the men on these shows always have one of the same reasons in common that they are not ready to get married. They are not where they want to be financially, or in their careers, or in their success. Men will put off wanting to marry or settle down with their woman until their careers are in place. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. We definitely want men who can take care of a family. It's biological. So this whole notion that women are bad for wanting men who are financially stable and can provide, it's ridiculous because the men have told us that that's what they need to settle down to.
It is well known that a woman's value lies in her level of beauty, while a man's value lies in his level of success. Every man knows that the greater his success, the more beautiful the woman he will have by his side. That's why men who follow their life path strive to achieve success and secure a stable financial life before starting a family. On the other hand, A woman will try to secure her financial future by using her beauty to get the best man she can find. But unlike men, she has a limit, as it is the woman who has a biological clock. Add to that the fact that her beauty's value decreases with age. This woman is 30, which means she's hit the wall. She should lower her standards and look for an average man because she can no longer compete with women in their 20s. What bothers her is that the best men are already married. So she talks about a man's financial life because she still hasn't found her beta provider. Time is running out for her because, as we all know, the wall is unforgiving.
Gentlemen, please do not let feminism, social media tell you or make you think that we don't need you. Trust me, women are craving masculinity. They're craving men. We need you. We just want to come home and go to sleep on your chest. We just need to wake up next to you knowing that you're there. We just need to be able to call you when we're having a weird day, bad day. You're the only one we want to call. I'm going to call my man about that. Let me see what my man says. Let me ask my man. We need you. Do not let feminism make you believe that you are not wanted. It is far from the truth, as women are all lying to themselves. Trust me. We need you. So you can't give up. You've got to go after your goals and your purpose because we need you to feel good about yourself. And you need to let us in. You need to be vulnerable enough to let us into that little heart there, that thing there. We need to get in there. We want to just get in, okay? We want to all get in there. So you need to let us. But do not be fooled, men. We need you.
Rather than telling men what they already know, the message should be directed to women who are being misled by so-called empowered women who claim they don't need any man. It's not that men are being brainwashed by feminism. It's that we're adapting to today's women. This adaptation starts by taking away privileges. No more opening doors, no more helping women in emergencies, no more paying for dates. Everything is 50-50th now. We no longer give money to solve anyone's problems because you said those privileges were a sign of machismo, so we learn to play by your rules. That's why we're seeing more women regretting feminism as they reach 30, find themselves without children or a man, and start realizing that if they want masculinity in their lives, the stability a man brings to the home, and the value men add to the table, they begin to question this harmful movement.
I feel like this. I feel like at our big age, I shouldn't have to tell you what you did wrong to me and how you being weird to me. You know you was being weird. You know you was being shady. You know what you was doing. I feel like at this overgrown age, I don't have to explain to you why I cut you off, why you are no longer a factor in my life, okay? We too grown. Y'all act like people owe you something to tell you why I don't fool with you no more. You know what you did, and I know what you did. Long as we see each other, I don't feel like I have to explain to you what you did. You know what you did. Why would I give you a chance to defend yourself about something that you know you did to me? Why you being weird to me? It be the main people that do you so bad and act like they ain't did a thing at all. Acting like you did something to them. You ain't did nothing. You been minding your P's and Q's. You been minding your little business. You been about you. You been about your paper. You been about yourself. But here comes somebody. Always want to start some trouble. Always want to stir up some mess because people are filled with so much drama and hatred and cruelty. And it just doesn't make sense to me because what you got going on in your life does not concern me. And I honestly, frankly, don't care. I remember when I used to give people chances and the benefit of the doubt to explain to them and to bring it up to their attention what they did to me and how it made me feel and what type of way. Y'all, I literally got nothing but backhanded comments, guilt, shame, insults, and they just had to be right. I just had to stop doing that and say, you know what? I'm going to take it for what it is. When a person shows you who they are, believe them. Okay, believe them the first time. Don't give them a second, third, fourth, 15th chance. Give them one time to show you who they are and you cut them off. If people realize how jealous people are of you, of what you got and who you are, people be like, I don't even have nothing for nobody to be jealous about. When people are jealous, it does not matter if you got $1 million or $1. When you got character, when you have character, when you have this light about you, people are just going to naturally gravitate towards you. And there's also going to be people naturally gravitating towards you because they don't like you and they want to know what's next for you. They want to know what you got going on, what you about to do because they want to be in your business. Okay, y'all gotta be able to decipher between the people that really genuinely want to be there for you and ones that's haters. I guess because I'm a person that don't care about what you got going on, what you doing. I don't care nothing about no celebrities' lives. I don't care about no regular person's life. I just don't care. Like, I can't care enough about what you got going on to be in your business, to want to know about you, to want to ask. I just, honestly, I don't care. Because nothing that you got that I want. Nothing. And if you got something, I can get it too. But it's not that I want it because you got it. It's because it's always meant to be for me. People need to understand when something is set in stone that you're going to get, you're going to have it. Doesn't matter how long it takes. If it's written in your will that the Lord got for you, you're going to have everything that he promised you. It's just going to take a little while longer. So that's why I never compare myself. That's like comparing apples to oranges. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'm not comparing myself to somebody else, because you never know what they're doing in order to get the things that they got right now. And so you don't need to worry about somebody else. That's why you need to mind your P's and Q's.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
This is the problem with relationships today. This is a narcissistic woman who only talks about me. She only thinks about how things affect her and never considers her own actions. I've always believed that when life is going poorly, or you're having bad relationships, and your life is a mess with everyone around you, the person who needs to reflect is you. Because if one person fails you, that's normal. If everyone fails you, you are the problem. Women would rather die than admit they are the issue. She says that when someone shows you who they are, don't give them another chance. But with Chad, she gives not just 1 but 5 or 6 chances. Logically, if you make a mistake, you should avoid it. Women make the same mistake 5 more times until it becomes too painful to keep trying, and that's when they finally let go. Then comes the victim complex of this woman, where everything harms her, and she never did anything wrong because responsibility is kryptonite for women. They'd rather die than admit, I'm the problem.
Story time. So I am 50 years old and I have been dating now for about 9 months, and I'm going to tell you why. I decided after knowing this guy for less than 24 hours that I am not going to go out on a date with him. So we matched on the new Facebook dating app. I don't really know if it's new, but it's new to me. I just sort of signed up for it, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago. It's basically on Facebook, and you just sort of activate the dating part of Facebook. None of your friends know that you do it. Only other people that are on Facebook that are in the dating app also know, right? So I matched with this guy, and we started, sort of bantering back and forth. Great communication in the beginning, just easy texting, whatever, nothing like inappropriate or anything. And then he was like, well, hey, how would you like to chat later on? So that's one thing I do like, is like, okay, yes, that's great. Let's text for a little while. But then within like the first day or two, you need to ask me, if you're a guy, like, we need to talk on the phone. So he said, hey, would you like to talk on the phone at some point in the next couple of days? And I said, sure, here's my cell number. So I said, why don't you call me tomorrow evening? And so that's a test. So ladies, when you're just starting to talk to someone, you could suggest to the guy, hey, give me a call tomorrow evening, and then you see whether or not they're going to do it. Because one of the number one qualities I want in a guy, and you probably want too if you are a high value woman, is you want a guy to do what he says he's going to do. That's very important. That shows he has integrity, that shows he has values. And this is one little simple test, right? So I said, here's my number. Why don't you call me tomorrow? He said, great. I will be sure and text you before I call you. I thought, that's great. So the next day came, I got a text from him that morning. We had some nice banter going back and forth. We were texting back and forth. It was great. And finally I was like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I don't really want to text you anymore. Like, as you said, just call.
A 50-year-old woman who believes she's high value. Do you know why she says it's over? Because he didn't rush the encounter. When women are past 30 and hit the wall, the last thing they want is to waste time. Now, a 50-year-old woman, with even less time to spare, of course, wants the man to hurry up with the date. Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive. When you talk to a woman of this age, she'll quickly try to make things happen. That's why she says she wants a guy who does what he says he'll do. This man, apparently, has been saying for days that he's going to invite her out or that he wants to do things with her, but never follows through. The last thing a woman likes is to have her time wasted.
I don't really want to text you anymore. Like, as you said, just call me back later tonight. So I said, I think I said something like, Okay, sounds good. Looking forward to our call tonight. Have a great rest of your day. Like, that was my nice way of saying, like, I don't want to text anymore. Just go ahead and call me later on today, like you said you would. And he said, sounds perfect. Have a great day as well. Like a little kissy emoji. Okay, perfect. Good. So the night came, which was last night. And I go to bed early. I go to bed at like 9 o'clock, okay? Because I need my beauty sleep. So 9 o'clock rolls around. He had not called. So I was like, you know what? Okay, fine. That's it, right? So I go to sleep. I wake up this morning. I see if he called. Maybe he called later. Maybe he called at 9:30 or 10. He did not call. Instead, he sent me a text this morning around 8 a.m. that said, "Good morning, gorgeous. I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to call you last night, but I don't know. I had something going on and it lasted longer than I thought. And when I got home, I was really tired." And that's all he said. He said, can I call you later on today? And guess what my answer is? My answer is absolutely not. In fact, I didn't even answer him because I'm not going to waste my energy even responding to this guy. I blocked him because guess what? That was his very first test. He should be on his best behavior right now. So if he can't even follow through the very first day I meet him on giving me a simple phone call, he's not my guy. Because guess what? I want a guy who does what he says he's going to do. So that's the lesson I learned, right? I don't need to waste any energy. I don't need to waste any time. I have a set intention on what I want. And I want a guy who has integrity, who follows through, whose words match his actions. So ladies, if you're just now starting to date and you're wondering how to test a guy, this is a great way to test him. Just ask him to give you a call. Does he follow through on the call or does he not? And if it's in the very beginning stages of talking to someone and they can't even do that simple thing of calling you back, like, oh my gosh, it's a no. That guy is fired because remember, you deserve better and never settle for anything less. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you agree with what I did.
Then she wonders why she's single at 50. If your advice has led you to be single at this age, my friend, you should rethink your ideas. At that age, wouldn't it be better to take the first step? Ask when you can meet up and go have a coffee? What do you have to lose at 50 and single? But she doesn't want to lower her standards. She still sees herself as a high-value woman and wants the man to pursue her. This might have worked well at 25, but at 50, it's not working anymore. My advice would be to lower your standards and learn to take the initiative. I know women fear rejection, but honestly, at 50 and up against the wall, you're closer to death than to someone putting a ring on your finger, so you don't have much to lose. This is a perfect example of how the wall doesn't forgive.
My body jiggles. It's old. My bones are brittle, for sure. Makes me want to tinkle. My pants, walking with assistance. This is no resistance. I was 5 feet too, but I compacted.
Welcome to the wall. In today's video, we will explore the stages women go through in their lives, from loneliness in their 30s to the wall of lamentations in their 50s. We will also dive into the story of a man who dates the mother of the year, who brings her newborn baby to a date and expects him to babysit while she picks up another child from a friend's house. It's a truly outrageous story. We want to invite you to smash that like button and help us reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year so we can earn our first plaque. That's the only support we ask of you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement and leave your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. Without further ado, let's get started.
Is a man less of a man if he can't change a flat tire?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Is a woman less of a woman if she can't cook a meal from scratch?
We're biased. We're women. No, that's not a good answer.
Do you believe we're in a transitional phase between women being old-fashioned and being independent?
Yes, we're already there.
If so, what are we transitioning to?
Feminism.
I hope we're transitioning to women and men being equal.
We're transitioning into a lot of women being cat ladies.
Do you think a woman would be welcomed at a woman's march if she's pro-life or has traditional values?
Nope.
So do feminists really care
Not
about
nowadays.
all women or just the women who agree with them?
Feminists do not care about women.
So is it really about women's choice?
No, because it's not allowing each individual woman to decide for herself. It's not respecting each individual woman. It's conforming to a propaganda.
Notice something. Women always expect a man to be a man and to always handle the tasks that a man is supposed to know because she expects that if she has a problem, her man will solve it. That's why I say feminism is a fallacy, unrealistic, and only aims to tell women that they deserve something just for existing. She expects you, as a man, to handle the tasks that men have always done, but it bothers her if a man expects her to do the tasks that women have always done, like cooking. She feels disappointed when her man can't even change a tire, but she would call you misogynistic or sexist if you got upset because she doesn't even know how to make a sandwich. The last woman is right. This movement has only become cheap propaganda pushed by big companies to get more women to abandon having a family in favor of becoming just another worker. You know what's worse? It's being sold as false empowerment, telling her that depending on her man is wrong and that being alone and independent with a cat is the way to go. But just look at how it ends.
Sometimes this is what my life looks like. Sitting on my bedroom floor crying, trying to build a bed frame by myself. Sometimes it's just so lonely.
Oh my God!
Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive. This is an average woman, but I'm sure her standards are far from average. She prefers to be alone rather than have company because I guarantee she's met men in her life. But she only wants a winner or one from the top 10%. That's why she suffers. It would be so easy for her to take the initiative, approach a man she finds attractive. I bet 3 out of 5 times it would work, but she's afraid of rejection. She prefers to stay on a dating app, swiping left until she finds the man with the perfect physique. You know, the 666 of the apocalypse. A man 6 feet tall, with six-pack abs, and earning 6 figures, the complete package. But her beauty isn't enough. Woman, learn to bet on a man's potential, or you'll end up like the next woman at the wall.
I spent years abandoning myself and rejecting myself. And how did that look? I was getting my eggs frozen and I needed a ride home because they were going to be putting me under and they were like, you can't drive and don't get an Uber. I was so scared to ask a friend to pick me up. It was out of the way. It was inconvenient for her life. My people-pleasing tendencies were then catering to her and not wanting to inconvenience her life. But also I was worried with how busy her life was. I didn't want to put her in an uncomfortable situation of having to say no to me. I was worried that she'd feel obligated to say yes. So I wasn't going to ask. But she was the only person that I felt safe and comfortable with, having just woken up from this surgery, to be my person to drive me home. And it was terrifying to make that request. It was terrifying to just ask for help and support because I have spent my entire life thinking I can do it all by myself. I don't need anyone's help. And the vulnerability, but also the fear of being rejected. So while I feared her saying no and rejecting me, I didn't even give her that opportunity because I then chose to just reject myself until I realized I needed a ride home. And if she's going to be the person that I want to bring me home, she gets to say yes or no. I don't get to make that decision for her. I typed up a text and said, would you be interested in driving me home from my surgery? I should be out around 9 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I was going to take an Uber down there. This is like a half an hour away. And she was like, 100%. And mind you, she's got a toddler. She's got a daughter in school. Her husband's out of town. Like, her life is busy and chaotic. And she was like, yes. And I will take you at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, no, you don't have to do that. She was like, 100% I am going to do that. And it meant a lot to me. And I realized that if I don't actually ask for help and support, I don't give them the opportunity to actually show up for me. I abandon myself. I reject myself so that I then don't have to be abandoned and rejected by someone else. And it's been a long journey of trusting and putting myself out there and actually seeing that people do want to show up for me. My name is Joey. I am a life coach, and I love supporting people in allowing others to show up for them, to show you that you are supported and that you're loved, and people actually want to be there for you. If any of this resonates with you, if you have questions about freezing your eggs, if anything, I am an open book.
This is a perfect example of how the wall doesn't forgive. Here we have a woman who looks like she's over 50, needing to ask a married woman for help with a medical emergency. And she's a life coach. You can't make this stuff up. But what can you possibly teach me when your life is a mess? This is where being strong and independent, not needing any man, leads you. These are the women who spend their whole lives chasing a career path, leaving behind good men because they're considered average, always wanting the winner. Now, at 50, she's freezing her eggs because she never found him. I'm not mocking this. It's simply sad. It's what many don't realize, especially after 30, when everyone is settling down and you're alone. There won't be people around for you. This married woman helped her now, but if she faces 3 or more emergencies, I guarantee she'll say no because it's not her problem. In this country, no one carries anyone else's burden. In those moments, you think, I should have had a child. I should have lowered my standards. I should have bet on a man's potential. I bet her life would be different. But check out the next story. It's too good to miss.
The strangest date I ever went on, buckle in, this is a story, came from Tinder. Of course it did, because a fucking dumpster fire. So I meet this girl, right? We start texting, and we start talking. I usually talk for a little bit, get the vibe going a little bit. Anyway, she lives up in Park City. I live down in Salt Lake in the Valley. It's like a 35-minute drive up Parley's Canyon to Park City. I get to her house. First of all, she gave me the wrong address. So I'm like driving around. I call her. I'm like, hey, I can't find your place. She's like, oh, I gave you the wrong address. I'm sorry. Like it was like on purpose or some shit. Like, what the fuck? So I get the right place, right? And it's like this big house. It's like this cabin-looking house. Like it's actually in Heber, not in Park City. It's just right outside of Park City, this little mountain town. Really pretty spot. And I go in and it's a mess. It's just like it's been fucking hit by a tornado. There's like baby shit everywhere. There's like bottles everywhere. So she comes out and she's carrying a newborn baby. Like a newborn. I've had a baby before. Not me personally, my ex-wife. And I know what a newborn looks like. And this baby had to have been like maybe a week old from the hospital. Still had like the pacifier from the hospital, right? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you had a newborn. She's like, yeah, I told you I had kids. I'm like, yeah, I just assumed that they were like, toddler age. And she goes, all right, let's go. I'm like, oh wait, we're going? And she starts to put the baby in like the baby seat, and then she puts it in, she hands me the baby seat and says, hey, can you put this in the car for me? I'm like, wait. We're not taking the baby with us to dinner, right? She's like, oh no, I don't have a babysitter. I thought I would just bring him along. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with this. I'll drive and you can drive your own car if you want to bring the baby. First of all, I shouldn't have done that. That was a fucking bad, awful idea. So we go to this little Mexican restaurant up there. It's kind of crowded. She sits down. And we're like ordering, we're talking. Keep in mind, she looked nothing like her profile photo. Like absolutely nothing. Like she must have used photos that were from like 10 years ago. This is going awful. The vibe's so weird. I'm so uncomfortable. She sits down and she starts to breastfeed. Like takes out her boob, starts to breastfeed. Now look, I'm all about like free the nipple. Like if you want to breastfeed anywhere, I don't care. That doesn't bother me, right? But it was just, the timing of it all was a little awkward. So she starts to breastfeed. Then she gets a phone call on her phone. She answers it, and she goes, "Oh, okay, yeah. I'll be right there." And she hangs up, and she goes, "Hey, I gotta go pick up my other kids at the friend's house. Would you mind watching the baby for me?" You're fucking kidding me, right? I got up, I left. and said,
Fuck up, you crazy bitch whore!
Then they say that a single mother does everything for her baby. This woman is a disaster, literally. I think one of two things happened here. Either she was married and made an emotional decision to leave the baby's father when the child was just days old. You know, the stupid decisions women make out of emotion. And since money is tight, she quickly started looking for a beta provider rather than going back to the baby's father, probably out of pride. Or, the second possibility, which I don't rule out given the situation, is that the baby is the daughter of a Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table but his seed. He got her pregnant, as they usually do, and then disappeared from the equation. Now, she's looking for a replacement, a beta provider to take over, considering how she leaves her baby with a stranger, which makes this very likely. This shows the instability of this woman. She doesn't know this man, doesn't know what he's like, yet she leaves her baby with him. What is this woman thinking? Luckily, this man is someone responsible, and he clearly got out of a terrible situation. Otherwise, he could have been dragged into a problem, accused of kidnapping or abusing the baby. These are the risks a man faces when dating women on apps. What you see in the picture is one thing, but what shows up in real life is something else entirely.
If you get asked on a date and you set up a day and it's next week or whatever, do you then go the week talking to them, or do you just go about your business, go about your day, go about your week, and then you meet at the date and then that's when you talk? I'm really confused. What's the procedure? If someone asks you on a date, do you then talk to them all week? If you're not used to if you're not friends and you don't talk often anyway, do you then message them throughout the week, how are you, small talk, until the date comes? Or do you just live your life, they live theirs, the date happens, and then that's when you be talking? Because I thought it's you mind your business, wait till your date comes, and then that's when you connect and you talk and da-da-dee-da. Am I supposed to be doing small talk in between? But we're not friends, so why are we small talking? And then if we talk now, then we won't have things to talk about then. So what's the right thing to do?
Remember that attention is a man's power over a woman. A woman will do anything for the attention of her man. If you invite a woman on a date and it's scheduled, but before the date you spend all your time giving her attention and sharing everything about yourself, she will quickly lose interest because you are an open book. Remember, women like a mysterious man. They enjoy putting in the effort to win your attention and time. If you give yourself away too easily, it doesn't make her put in any effort. You need to make a woman invest her time in you. The more time she invests, the more she'll fall for you. What a woman hates most is wasting her time. That's why men are always advised that absence, scarcity, and unpredictability are your best allies. You have to make her doubt whether you're interested or not. You know, make her feel a roller coaster of emotions, so that by the time the date arrives, she's fully interested in getting to know the man in front of her. Remember, the most valuable product isn't the one that's most abundant. It's the one that's rare. In this case, you are the prize. Don't forget it. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think of this mother who is single with a newborn baby? Have you ever seen a strong, independent woman reach 50 alone? How does life treat them? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.